My name is Joe Prim, and I am the host of Prepare.Defend.Lead. In this episode, we are going to break down the Heroes Wanted project because nobody's coming to save you.
The comfort and distractions of today collide to indulge our desires and provide a slow death by apathy. A superior primitive ethos exists. Prepare for tomorrow. Defend what you value and lead those you love. This mindset is the foundation of living an authentic life as a bold, disciplined man resolute in your mission. Prepare, defend, lead. Your mission. Own it.
All right, here we go. Let's jump right into it. I had an awesome week last week as I was able to be a part of 3 podcasts. Yes, 3 podcasts. 2 of them had been recorded previously, but they all 3 dropped last week and were a great time. On Monday, I had the opportunity to do a live show for the Prepper Broadcasting Network with my buddy James Walton over there. James and I have been working together and bouncing ideas off of each other and helping each other out for many years now. So getting together with him was really just like sitting on the back porch, having a cold one and just talking, just sharing what's going on, sharing what we're working on, sharing what we're seeing, what we're expecting out there in this crazy world we're living in. So you can go to PrepperBroadcastingNetwork.com and check out that episode, a full 2 hours of the 2 of us just jawing. It was great. I also had the opportunity to be on a podcast that I have been listening to now for several years with 2 exceptional hosts, and that being the Warriors and Wild Men podcast with the host, of course, Doug Giles, who I've gotten to know a little bit at Cigars and Sermons, and a guy who I had on a podcast way back in the day on the Ever Vigilant podcast, and that was Rich Whitmer. So great podcast, good time with those guys talking about the book and talking about all sorts of craziness. And then I was able to record a podcast a while back with Mike Price of the Frontline podcast. And Mike had some great questions, and we really dug deep into the 6 principles of open out of my book, another exceptional podcast. So right there, there's 3 podcast recommendations to go check out, to dig into, check out those podcasts, check out those hosts, give them a follow, find out what they're doing, and go be a part of what they have going on. But not until we finish listening to this episode, right? So this episode, it's going to hit hard. The last 3 episodes have kind of been building up to this, with the idea of the last episode being about family meetings and the importance of leadership in your home. We had a podcast on, do you really want what you say you want? And before that, we had a podcast on solving the problems of everyday life and just looking at life as a series of problems and taking them on one at a time instead of avoiding and dodging them. In this episode, I want to break down the Heroes Wanted project, which is what I am calling my coaching program. But besides the coaching part of it, this is really the culmination of years of doing what I've been doing, whether it be podcasting, whether it be conversations, whether it be books I've read, whether it be podcasts I've listened to, whether it be videos I've watched. This here with Heroes Wanted is the culmination of that plus my own life experience. So we're going to break this down today. And so really the premise of this whole idea of Heroes Wanted goes back to nobody's coming to save you. We need to come to the realization and take ownership that where you are today in your life is a result of your beliefs and the actions that you have taken based on those beliefs. There ain't nobody else to blame, and there ain't nobody else coming to save you. It's on you. And as you look at your life, you're realizing that you're fed up with your indecision and your inability to make commitments. Or maybe you're sick and tired of being the nice guy and being pushed around and taken advantage of. You're frustrated by your shallow faith and devotion to God. You're done with the lies that others are telling you, and worse yet, the lies that you continue to tell yourself. You're over-sedating yourself with distractions that blur reality and prevent you from seeing the truth. You're sick and tired of not having the guts or the energy to confront your kids and address small issues before they grow into problems. You're so afraid of failing that you will not venture outside of your comfort zone. You're haunted by your reactions instead of being proactive in your life and the decisions that you make. You're frustrated that your wife doesn't respect you, and worse yet, you understand why. And you're fed up maybe with being out of shape and soft. The reason why these things do not sit well with us, if we are honest with ourselves and we are evaluating ourselves, is because I believe as a boy, we all looked up to heroes. And whether they won games because they played sports, or they saved lives, or they hurt bad guys, or they explored the far reaches of the universe, you were sure that this was where your future was going when you became a man. Somewhere along the line, the comforts and distractions of this modern life grabbed hold, and apathy has slowly begun to squeeze the life out of you. Rather than to step into an arena daily to face the enemy, which is yourself, you sedate your pain and you hide your frustrations with politics and video games and sports and porn and Netflix and work or any one of a million other possibilities. These distractions serve as an escape from the reality that you have created for yourself and yet you despise. Sure, you blame your wife and your kids and your growing responsibilities at work for where you find yourself today. But deep down, you know you have no one to blame but yourself. And as you begin to take ownership of your life, the hero, yes, the hero that you dreamed about when you were a boy, is buried beneath years of lies and fear and expectations of others, but begins to stir when you take ownership. If you're listening to this podcast, because I know a lot of you, I talk with you, I hear from you, and if you are here listening to this podcast, it's because you are uncommon. There is an ember that burns deep inside of you. But that ember is searching for the fuel to grow into an inferno. Unlike most men, you are not content with this mediocrity. It drives you crazy. It keeps you up at night. It frustrates you. Unlike most men, you are ready to commit to change. Unlike most men, you know you were meant for more. And unlike most men, you now are willing to make the sacrifices necessary to rescue that hero, not only for yourself. It's not just about you. But you need to save you. But for those you love and that you value most. You see, it took me some difficulties and some hard times and some harsh realities and some kicks in the butt to get me to this place where I am today. You see, about 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago now, because time flies by so quickly. So I had come to this edge of a cliff in my life. I was still reeling from losing our home about a year earlier. About a month after my daughter was born, I had lost my job. The time with the newborn daughter was a blessing, but the time of unemployment eventually led to the loss of our home. Now, it wasn't a big house. It wasn't an amazing house. Nothing you were ever going to see on Instagram. But it was my house, and it served as a prize to me. It was a symbol that I had done and followed the expectations of everybody else, and I had succeeded. But at this low point, I vividly remember as the neighbors pulled our nice furniture from the trash where it ended up as a result of our need to downsize into a small townhouse with no yard for my young kids to play in. As the neighbor slowly drove by to inspect my furniture and they loaded it up into their cars, furniture that I still owed money on, I felt crushed. I had failed. I had failed my family, I had failed myself, and I never had felt lower in my life. When I got back to work, I crushed my career goals. I had a wonderful wife and 2 healthy young children, and anyone looking in from the outside would have thought that things were going well. And if you're happy with the status quo, which I know you're not, you would have thought things were great too. I worked hard Monday through Friday. I built a solid reputation and a great network in my industry. But on weekends, from Friday night into Saturday morning, and Saturday night into Sunday morning, I would be playing video games. And it became a cycle. Rinse and repeat, week after week. And when I say I played video games, the games were less of an escape and really an ongoing project to rack up completed games and achievements, looking for some sense of accomplishment and purpose in my life. At some point during this rinse and repeat cycle, I started to question, is this it? Is this really all that I can do? Is this really my purpose? My reaction initially to this question was yes. I had hiked to the end of the trail and was standing at the edge of the cliff with seemingly nowhere to go. In an effort to get myself unstuck, I looked to a higher power and began to pray for wisdom, as is recommended in the Bible. James 1:5 says, if any of you lack wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault. And as I prayed for wisdom and discernment, I started to look at things differently. And as I began to look at things differently, the fog seemed to lift. And I noticed that what had looked like the edge of a cliff was not. There was a narrow, steep, and dangerous trail that only those committed to doing things differently would be willing to embark on. But once I noticed that small trail, I decided and I committed to a new adventure, a new life. I decided to fearlessly move forward and to challenge myself, get outside of my comfort zone, and decide that if I was going to move forward and challenge myself, that I needed to make the best use of my time possible. I started to listen to audiobooks. I started to listen to podcasts that challenged me and encouraged me. Started to cut out my TV time. I started to get up earlier so I had time to journal, read the Bible, pray. And one morning as I was praying and meditating, I realized that a big part of why I was changing and embracing these new challenges was because I had opened my mind to new thoughts and the possibility that I had not reached the end of the trail. And as I began to think about the word open, I realized that it wasn't just my mind that needed to be open, but also my ears, my eyes, my mouth, my heart, and my arms. And that's where the 6 principles of my book, Open, come from. Those 6 principles became a prayer, but also beacons in my life as to who I wanted to become. As these 6 principles played in my head, I began to flush them out in meaning and context. I wanted to share them. I wanted others to hear these principles so they too could use them as a guide down that narrow, steep, and dangerous trail. These principles are no longer a concept, as I had referred to them for years. I've proven out over the last years that these principles do indeed work. The 6 principles are easy to grasp, but difficult to master. So as you look at your life and you begin to sort out and identify maybe with some of the pain points that I pointed out at the beginning of this, and you realize that I am at a point in my life where I need to stop making excuses. I need to stop seeking validation from others. I need to stop avoiding adversity. I need to stop believing the lies that other people are telling me. And I need to stop avoiding conflict. And I need to begin accepting my failures and learning from them. And begin living my life with a purpose. And begin building a tribe of men that will support you and hold you to a high standard. That you need to begin communicating in a powerful way. And that you need to begin to see the beauty and the opportunity that is all around you. As I've said many times on this podcast, and you've seen it on Instagram, you've seen it anywhere where I post things. My motto for this year was, without fear, there is no risk, and without risk, there is no reward. What is the cost of leaving the hero buried under those fears, lies, and expectations of others? What is the cost of doing nothing? You know what the cost is because you see it all around you. What is the cost of a broken marriage? Separation, divorce, kids on the weekend. Don't allow this to happen because you refuse to communicate and to engage. What is the cost of being an apathetic father? Rebellion, frustration, abandoning of the morals and values that you hold high as a result of you not listening, being present, and clearly defining the expectations that are indispensable as the leader in your family. And what is the cost of the lies that you are telling yourself? The lies hurt. The truth hurts, but lies kill. They kill your relationships. They kill your goals, your dreams, your momentum, your faith, your home, and you. They might not kill you today or tomorrow or next week, but lies inevitably always lead to death. That's why I say heroes wanted. Because now is the time to stop lying, fearing, and hiding. You see what's going on around you. You see what's happening in this here United States and around the world. It is time to start engaging, communicating, and feeling. I have a quote here by Tecumseh that I think lays this out in a way that I want to live out. It says, when your time comes to die, do not be like those whose hearts are filled with fear of death, so that when their time comes, they weep and pray for just a little more time to live their lives over again in a different way. Sing your death song and die like a hero going home. If you're ready to quit living like a lone wolf, quit wasting hours of your life, Quit avoiding your life. Quit hiding from the struggles and just going through the motions. You want to become confident, present, bold, intentional, and respected? Nobody's coming to save you. These things are on you. My goal is today, and always has been, through whether it was through Ever Vigilant, whether it was through being guests on podcast, or through writing of my book Open, has always been and always will be to challenge and encourage men to prepare, defend, and lead. I believe those three things lead to purpose in your life. I have been building curriculums and making podcasts and writing books in order to start a movement of men that understand that there is more to this life than going through the motions, than the rinse and repeat cycle that you continually get stuck in. I want to help. I have been there. I have worked through many of these things. I have studied. I have mentored. I have been a mentor and been mentored. And I want to help you become the hero that is just there. It's there and has been there since the day that you were born. Since you idolized those sports stars and TV actors as they portrayed amazing cowboys and army guys and people that were there to serve a bigger purpose than themselves. Whether they were astronauts taking the risks and going into space, or superheroes going into space to save us from Thanos. We had these heroes and we wanted to be one. And as I said earlier in this podcast, somewhere along the line we get caught up in the lies. And this hero lays buried, dormant, underneath fear, and underneath lies, and underneath the expectations of those around us. But that ember still glows, and that hero wants to rise again in you. This is why I wrote Open, 6 Life-Changing Principles. This is why I do Prepare.Defend.Lead podcast. This is why I continue to grow and push myself to move forward in growth and in leadership and in understanding and in communication. And this is why I began the Heroes Wanted project. So that we could dig deeper, one-on-one coaching to guide and help men find a deeper, true purpose that can get them out of bed in the morning and move them forward and have them in a position of serving others. Now, in our day and age, the term hero has been cheapened. It's become synonymous with the clothes that people wear, which is a shame. Because if it's only by the clothes that you wear that you become a hero, then the word hero is cheapened. When I talk about hero, it is not only in one facet or one area of your life. It is lifting yourself into a position of being able to serve, taking care of yourself in concentric circles to your family, to your extended family, to your friends, to your community, to your congregation, and to affect all of those people by influence. Now, if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, that's great, but you can also buy the book, Open. It's available on Kindle and on paperback at Amazon. You can continue to support and listen to this podcast, Prepare.Defend.Lead. Leave a review. The reviews and subscriptions and downloads are the fuel that will keep this movement going forward. Like I said, you can find my book. I also now have available a free guide, which it serves as an introduction to the 6 principles. It's kind of like a 10-page infogram where it breaks down the 6 principles. It has an intro and a summary page. And if you are interested in doing one-on-one coaching, you can go to Prepare.Defend.Lead.com. There, at the bottom of the page, you can sign up for a call. Fill out an application, and we can get on a call and talk and see if the program that I have built for this one-on-one coaching would be of benefit to you. If one-on-one is maybe a bit more than what you're looking for, but you might be interested in doing a group coaching, direct message me on Instagram or on Facebook, and let me know that you may be interested in group coaching. I'm working on getting that program together, but I want to have a list of guys that are ready to do group coaching, because part of the benefit of having group coaching is having a solid group of guys. It's a true benefit to having the group coaching. It's having other guys that we can listen to, that we can talk to, that we can communicate with, that we can pray for, that we can dig deep with in the program. I have a lot of the program already built and set up, again, based on the 6 principles. If that's something you'd be interested in, you can contact me on Facebook at Prepare.Defend.Lead or on Instagram at Prepare.Defend.Lead. But again, if you are looking for something deeper, if you are ready to make some significant changes in your life, and you're willing and ready to make the sacrifices now, because you realize that nobody's coming to save you, begin to take some steps today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not this will be a great New Year's resolution. Start taking those steps today to begin to uncover the hero that lies beneath the lies and fears and expectations of others in your life. Not just for yourself, but for those around you. As I mentioned earlier, please review, share, and subscribe to this podcast. It is the fuel that will keep this podcast moving forward. Follow me on Instagram at Prepare.Defend.Lead. I post almost every day on there. It's a really good place to follow what I have going on. Buy the book. If you're interested in coaching, Prepare.Defend.Lead.com. If you're interested in the group coaching, direct message me on Facebook or on Instagram. As always, men, hold fast and God bless.